Yo, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to another Genshin Impact video. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys the best builds for ZHONGLI for both main DPS and support. All the calculations in this video were done using the Genshin Impact Damage Calculator, and shout out to the devs, especially the man named Sirius from their official Discord that clarified some stuff for me. I'm going to be leaving a link to this in the description so you guys can go ahead and check it out. But basically, these builds are mathematically the most optimal, which is what we're all about on this channel. Now, for purposes of testing, I'm not going to take into account weapon refinements or artifact substats. If you have any doubts about what you specifically need to optimize your build, you're going to have to head over to the calculator and input your own artifact stats and substats and see what is actually best for you. But just to give everyone a general idea of what they should be going for, this is how we'll be doing our testing. First up, the best artifact set for main DPS ZHONGLI. For this, we're going to be using a physical damage bonus cup. Since you'll be using him as your main DPS, you're not going to be focusing on geo damage percentage, you're going to be focusing on your basic attacks. And the different sets I tested were 4-piece Gladiator, 4-piece Bowlight, 2-piece Bloodstained, 2-piece Gladiator, and 4-piece Hydro set for the lulz. Now, as you can see, 2-piece Bloodstained actually has the highest DPS out of all of them, which I actually was surprised by because I always thought that 4-piece Glad was the best, but it's actually followed by 4-piece Glad, and then 4-piece Bowlight lags behind a little bit. As for the best weapons, this one is pretty much a no-brainer, but I checked the DPS for all of them anyway. So here is a list of the different weapons and their total DPS with the 2-piece Bloodstained and 2-piece Gladiator build, since it's the most optimal one. I tested this with all the different builds I mentioned previously, and the list of weapons remained exactly in the same order. And please keep in mind that all the weapons have their substats, effects, and or passives put into play in this DPS calculation. So at the very top we have Crescent Pike with 9400 DPS, and then we have a very close three-way tie between Skyward, J-Wing, and Vortex, and surprisingly, Dragon Spine Spear. And then you have the Deathmatch. However, it does have the caveat that there is only one enemy near, but it remains in the same spot even if there are 2 or more enemies. And after that, you have the Black Cliff followed by the White Tassel, and surprisingly, the Prototype Star Glitter is the worst free-to-play option. However, this is Glass Cannon ZHONGLI. Now, ZHONGLI has a pretty strong shield, so I wanted to find a build that would be the best option between doing a lot of damage and having a strong shield. So I compared all of the builds and tried out different things, using an HP percentage timepiece instead of an attack one. But what I found to be the easiest and most balanced option is if you just go 4-piece Bowlight instead of 2-piece Bloodstained and 2-piece Glad with an attack percentage timepiece. If you do this, you only deal about 6% less damage overall when you compare the two builds, but your shield is 26% stronger, and your ult damage is about 4 or 5% less damage. But this is by far the comfiest solution. So in conclusion, the best Glass Cannon main DPS balls to the wall ZHONGLI build is 2-piece Bloodstained and 2-piece Gladiator with an attack percentage timepiece, physical damage bonus cup, and a Crescent Pike. But if you want a balance between damage and shielding, 4-piece Bowlight is by far the best option. Just keep in mind that you will be doing significantly less damage if that shield ever breaks. But at least you can actually farm Bowlight unlike Gladiator, so this build might be more feasible and more accessible to many more people. Next, let's see what would be the best build for support ZHONGLI. And for this, we're going to forego completely the damage from his basic attacks and solely focus on the shield strength and his ult damage. And this is pretty much a no-brainer, but I tested 4-piece Petra and 4-piece Noblesse anyway, just to be sure. But of course, the highest DPS option was 2-piece Petra and 2-piece Noblesse. Not by a lot though, which did surprise me, I'm not gonna lie. But the biggest thing that people ask me is what main stats should you be running with support ZHONGLI? Should you go full HP? Should I go for HP percentage over geo damage? Do I want crit damage or do I want HP on my hat? Well, I went ahead and tested all the possible combinations for artifacts, and I found that an HP percentage timepiece combined with a geo damage cup and a crit damage hat actually give you the highest amount of burst damage you could possibly get. So that's what I'm going to recommend. If you feel like you need a stronger shield, you can replace the hat for a HP percentage hat, and you don't lose out on that much more damage from your burst, but you do gain a nice buff to your shield. Now let's go over the best weapons for support ZHONGLI. Now again, all weapons have their substats and passives active, so with that in mind, the Jade Wing actually has the highest potential damage when it has all of its stacks and its special effect is active, closely followed by the Vortex when it has all of its stacks and you have a shield. It's nearly identical. However, when you don't have any any of the stacks on either weapon, the Vortex actually has higher damage than the Jade Wing. The interesting thing though is that when both of these weapons don't have their passives up, they actually get outdamaged by the deathmatch at its weakest, aka when there are 2 or more enemies. So I would say there is a 3-way tie between these 3 weapons. The Jade Wing and the Vortex do have higher potential damage, but when they don't have any stacks and you just pull out ZHONGLI, the deathmatch is actually better than both of them. Anyway, after all those, you have the Skyward Spine and then the Black Cliff and the Royal Spear. However, the Black Cliff with no stacks deals less damage than the Black Tassel, which is a 3-star weapon. And since this is for support Zhong, again, unless you're swapping him out onto the field once all the enemies near you are low so he can kill them and proc the stacks on Black Cliff, that's probably never going to happen. And don't be fooled by the high damage number on the Royal Spear that you see here, because that requires Royal Spear to have max stacks, which requires you to not crit 5 times in a row before you ult, which is just a no-no. So I would not recommend either Paimon shop weapons for support ZHONGLI. So in conclusion, Deathmatch is the most consistent option, Vortex and Jade are the highest possible damage options, and Black Tassel is the best free-to-play option. And there you have it guys, the best builds for ZHONGLI. I want to reiterate that this was all ignoring substats, because getting perfect substats on every single piece is very unrealistic. That's why I didn't want to test or do any of these things with my own artifacts, because I don't have the artifacts that I would need to test this fairly, and this video would just apply to nobody. So if you want to know what stats you should be going for, again, head over to the Genshin Impact Damage Calculator and see what would be best for you. However, if you just want to know in general what substat you should be going for, on main DPS ZHONGLI, you're going to want attack percentage, HP percentage, crit rate, and crit damage on your feather. On your timepiece, you're going to want HP percentage, flat attack, crit rate, and crit damage. And on everything else, you're going to want attack percentage, flat attack, crit rate, and crit damage. On support ZHONGLI, you're optimally going to want HP percentage, attack percentage, crit rate, and crit damage on your flower, HP percentage, flat HP, and crit on your feather and cup. And then on your timepiece and hat, you're going to want attack percentage, flat HP, crit rate, and crit damage. The reason why I recommend flat HP over attack percentage when possible is because there is only a 1% damage loss in your ult damage per max flat HP substat compared to attack, but there is a 6% shield strength gain, so it's more balanced that way in my personal opinion. But if you think your shield is strong enough already, then you can just run HP percentage, attack percentage, and crit on your flower, attack percentage, HP percentage, and crit on your feather, and then attack percentage, flat attack, and crit on your timepiece, cup, and hat. And there you have it guys. This video took a lot of effort, so I hope you guys enjoyed it or found it useful, and if you did, then be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more Genshin Impact content. Huge shout out to my patrons for their continued support, and thanks to you for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Take care.